Hey guys, this is Nandini for the GoanChessTrio. Today I'm going to show you one of the basic mistakes players make in the Italian game and how to take advantage of it. So it's good to know from both sides, from white as well as black, and yes, you could also call it an opening trick. E4, E5, Knight F3, Knight C6 and Bishop C4. This is the Italian game. And here black has two main replies. One is Bishop C5 that will lead to the classical Italian game, while the other is Knight F6 that will lead to the two knights defense. Now I'm going to show you something in the Bishop C5 lines and where black goes wrong a lot of times over here. So after Bishop C5, you continue with C3. Well, if you do, okay, so basically this video will be very helpful for those who do play the Italian game with white or black, and if you do not, well, you could decide to play it or not after watching this video. So with C3, white is planning to push the pawn to D4 and take control of the center, because taking control of the center is a very basic opening principle and we all like to control the center, right? So after C3, black continues Knight F6. Well, this is the main move of this opening, and you continue D4 because this was your idea with C3. And here black's best moves over here are to continue E into D4, C into D4 and Bishop B4. Now keep in mind, this is the only way black can equalize or get a good game over here, because if he doesn't do this, then white gains an easy advantage. So after Bishop B4, the point is the white king is under a check. So first, white has to get rid of the check somehow or the other. So he could play the move Knight C3, Knight BD2 or even Bishop D2. But in either of the lines, black is doing perfectly fine and he doesn't have too many problems, and both players have equal chances. Now, a major mistake in a lot of games I see is, instead of playing the move Bishop B4, a lot of players play the move Bishop B6 over here, and this is a major mistake because as you see on the board, both the pawns can definitely advance, but seeing the position, white has a center, white has easy development, he's going to castle. But yes, as I've already marked on the board, now over here either of the pawns can just push themselves and white has a very good advantage, because after a move like D5, the knight has to again move and goes to B8. Well, why would you go back to the starting square? I mean, what's the use of getting the knight out? So that's not good. The only way maybe black could continue is maybe Knight E7 over here. And after Knight E7, the problem is white gets E5 again. And just have a look at the way the white pieces are over here. White is going to castle very soon, the bishop's coming out, the knight's developing, and look at the central pawns white has, the E5 and D5 pawn, the space advantage white is having. So basically with the pushes E5 and D5, white has gained a lot of space advantage, and that is going to help him in the game further. So after this, let's have a look at a couple of black replies. Or let's just say Knight E4 is played over here, having a simple threat of Knight F2 or Bishop F2, and well, I mean, a move like Knight G8, again, not really good, right? So we'll just consider Knight E4. And how will white defend the F2 pawn? Well, you can simply castle over here, defend the F2 pawn with the rook. And if you go to C, the knight probably can go to C5, but what is the future after that? I mean, this knight on E4 is really awkwardly placed and it's going to cause black some trouble. And if he does give it away with knight into F2, well, you should be really happy about it, because these exchanges are really favorable for white. And you may think, why? I mean, you're giving up your rook, how is it favorable for white? Well, the point is you're gaining two minor pieces for the rook, and two minor pieces are usually stronger than one rook. In this position, definitely stronger than one rook, and you will be gaining a huge advantage. Let me tell you why. Simple reason to why. First of all, let's have a look at how many moves the knight has taken to capture F2. He has played Knight F6, move number 1, move number 2, and move number 3 is capturing the F2 pawn. What about the bishop? Bishop C5, the first, then second Bishop B6, and then Bishop into F2. So basically 3 plus 3 is 6 moves. Black is losing 6 moves to capture the white rook. And how many moves has the white rook made? Well, the white rook has practically made 0 moves, because he has reached the F1 square by castling, and castling is actually the king's move. The rook move is just a bonus, So after rook f1 over here, the rook reaches f1 through castling, and if black does capture, you can understand 6-0. So basically white will be 6 moves up, for example, because black is losing 6 moves. And if you just see the position, white has easy play, while for black it's really cramped and not really nice. So this was one simple continuation, that was d5. Now you could also play the move e5. I mean, either of the moves are really good for white. For e5, again, if the black knight does move to g8, e4, or wherever, you just can push, if possible, d5. Otherwise you could castle, and it's really good for white. But let's just consider black's best move in this position, and that is counterplay. So that is with d5. But again, white has a very good advantage, because e into f6, you just capture the knight, and after d into c4, you see that this d4 pawn is actually attacked. So we just save the pawn first. So we just push the pawn and yes, attack the knight at the same time. So we are not losing a move. And where can the knight go? I mean, the knight does not really have too many squares. So after a move like knight b4, we can play a move like queen a4. That is a double attack. It's a check, and the knight on b4 is attacked. So a move like c6 is forced. And yes, we should not be blundering with queen into b4 over here, because if we do, then we are going to lose our queen after bishop a5, and we do not want to give away our queen, do we? So instead of queen into d4, we see that knight d3 is black's threat over here. So what do? We just safeguard our king first by castling, and now a simple threat is queen into b4. So he has to save his knight, and after he does play a move like knight d5, you can simply capture f into g7, and you're having really good play, because after rook g8, for example, you have bishop g5, you have rook e1, you have knight d2, and white is doing really great. It'll be really difficult to play as black over here. White's having a really good advantage. So if you are finding this video informative, and if you are enjoying this video, then don't forget to like this video and hit the subscribe button. And getting back over here, so e5 and d5 are already covered. So over here for bishop e6, e5, d5, anything's working good for white. So if you are black in this position, keep in mind bishop b4 is a move you're supposed to play. I'm again mentioning because there are a lot of players who play bishop b6, and if you do play bishop b4 here, you will be doing fine. And yes, another important mistake which I see a lot of players make is bishop b6 in this position without capturing e into d4. So over here, you see that white can simply capture the e5 pawn for free. So why not capture? A free pawn is a free pawn. You just capture it. So after d into e5, now black has two options since his knight had attacked. One is knight g4, one is knight e4. Let's have a look at them one by one. If black does play the move knight g4, now this knight on g4, as you see, I've marked it in red because it is hanging over there. It's not yet protected, and it is on the diagonal of our queen. So if we did not have a f3 knight, we could probably capture the knight, but our knight on f3 is causing an issue. So here there is a tactic. Pause the video and try to figure out if you can find the tactic over here. So white can simply play the move bishop into f7, and after your opponent plays king into f7, you have knight g5, and not only are you delivering a check over here, but now after the king moves, you just capture the knight on g4. So basically you will be one pawn up because black can capture knight into e5 next. So that is fine, but the important thing in this position is black has lost castling, so his king is going to be stuck in the center throughout the game. So that's really important and will give white a huge advantage. So knight g4 is not possible for black. Now the other variation he has is knight e4. Now what happens for knight e4? Well, white has a couple of variations which he could again play over here, a couple of tactics. Again, try to pause the video and see if you can find the tactic. If you found the move bishop into f7 over here, well, that's really good because it is one of the tactics. And after king into f7, you see the d5 square there. You take your queen out there. It's a double attack now. The king's under a check and the knight on e4 is under attack. So once the king moves, you have queen into e4, and again, the black king has lost castling and you are material up to. So this is bishop into f7, but there's an even better move than bishop into f7. So if you did find the move queen d5, then that's wonderful, because this is the best move in this position. Because now this is a double attack, because this pawn is attacked as well as a knight. So how can black defend both? Well, he can try knight d6, but we have e into d6. We just pick up the knight. He can also play the move knight g5 because he's defending the f7 pawn. But you see this bishop on c1, which was sleeping all this while. Well, it comes to life and it can capture bishop into g5. And again, we have a threat of queen into f7, plus the queen's also attacked. So again, you're going to win more material. Or of course, checkmate black. So yeah. So basically, these are the two major mistakes black makes a lot of times. And the move is bishop b6. And both the moves, bishop b6, one before capturing the d4 pawn, while the other is after capturing the d4 pawn. So if you are black, please do keep in mind you got to play bishop b4 over here and not bishop b6. And if you are white, well, you have learned what to do if your opponent commits the opening errors of bishop b6 in the Italian game. So I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.